everyone. I'm Katie Martin, the Student Enterprise and SME Development Manager, and today we are joined by Lauren Else, our Enterprise Advisor, and we make up 2/3 of the Basecamp Enterprise team at the University of Bristol. So today we'll be talking with you about the steps that we've taken to improve the gender diversity of the final stage, which is our growth stage of our new enterprise competition. So the competition itself is going into its 20th year. And has provided a platform to support students' ideas and to launch some amazing innovations developed at the university. So we provide funding at all levels of startup through 3 different stages, supporting the start of their journeys in the ideas stage, through their development, and then to the growth of their ventures. So every year we award £35,000 of funding to entrepreneurial students and staff, and then at that final students and alumni, and then at that final growth stage for staff as well. So these startups cover a broad range of areas, from jewelry design to novel vertical farming technologies, sort of everything in between. So, you know, we've been really proud of the benefit the competition brings to these exceptional startups, but we were keenly aware of the lack of women applying to the most advanced stage, the growth stage. So in fact, sorry, Lauren, next slide, please. In fact, so in previous years, you can see that we've had as little as 0 of 10 of the finalists, companies being founded or co-founded by women. And in that picture, there is one woman, but actually she was an intern and came to represent a company that couldn't make it because of, I don't know, investment opportunities or something. So, you know, knowing that was a problem, we did play around with the idea of having like maybe a women category or a tech and non-tech to maybe level the playing field, but those options didn't really seem right to us. Instead, we wanted to practice what we preach to our students who are developing ideas, and decided to focus on analyzing the problem before we were coming up with the solutions. So the graph on the left is from the Allison Rose review on female entrepreneurship. And that was a review that was exploring the barriers faced by women starting and growing businesses in ways that the UK and actually a bit further than that could unlock this potential. The review found, for example, that 1 in 3 UK startups well, only 1 in 3 is founded by a woman. But this actually represents 1.1 million businesses missing from the economy. So we weren't trying to tackle that issue necessarily, although we definitely can play our part in that, but it does provide a much wider context for understanding the problem and shows that our experiences were not too dissimilar from what has been happening overall. So the approach that we took to explore the gender disparity was twofold. First, we held roundtable discussions that brought together a range of stakeholders, including students, startup incubators, entrepreneurs, business coaches, and university commercialization managers. The aim of the session was to understand barriers that women students may face when pursuing their startup ideas, or why they might not embrace entrepreneurship as an option at all. And then we came up with some ways that we could address those barriers. The second approach was in-depth analysis of data, feedback, and interviews with previous competition applicants, sponsors, and judges. So the surveys and interviews covered a range of topics, including why students apply, recommendations for how we could better and more inclusively promote the competition, and what extra support and training that they would like to receive, and much more than that. So the next slide provides just a couple of the examples of the findings from our research. So the graph on the left is an example of what students would want to see added into the competition. So really things that we could do to implement, that would add a lot more incentive for them applying. And then the table on the right are just some of the examples of the discussion points during the focus group, and a handful of the solutions that we identified. So we used the incredible list of recommendations through our research to redesign and to develop our offer. And so I'm going to pass over to Lauren, who will now talk you through the steps that we took in moving our competition purely from a business plan competition to a support program as well.
So what did we actually do? Well, here is an overly complex diagram of our program of support. Essentially, we were looking at adding around 6 months worth of pre-prep for you actually submitting that business plan, which might be a little bit outfacing. And this started in early September when we asked them to submit an expression of interest, bearing in mind that the actual application deadline isn't until mid-March. This expression of interest is fairly straightforward, quite nice questions, you know, describe your business in a tweet, what are you planning for the future? It's also, you know, it's for quite our most advanced stage of our competition, so we're expecting them to be quite good. So this was really, really good for us because it allowed us to encourage some people that we knew were really credible founders but maybe didn't have the confidence or would, might really benefit from this, program of support. Plus, we could weed out a few that maybe were applying a little bit earlier and signpost different support on offer. So at this stage, we actually found fairly equal men and women applying, which was, a good kind of step in the right direction. So those 33 that applied, we shortlisted 24 and matched them all with mentors. Now, the mentor recruitment process was something we could talk for, an hour on, but, making sure that we've got really good links with some of our partners across the city and some really great kind of links with employers, thanks to our fantastic employer teams, both small and large. So basically this gave them opportunity to support them with the business plan. So sorry, we were asking the mentors to support them with the business planning and modelling rather than necessarily specific types of business support. So then that gave them from early December, when we had a speed date mentor matching event where they met their mentors, until the 18th of March, when we wanted them to hand in a 10-page business plan. We also had, as part of this program support, fantastic access to some really, really good business advisors, which would usually cost you loads and loads of money to actually access. And this was thanks to our fantastic partnership with Set Squared Bristol, which we can talk to you about if you would like to know more. So everything from intellectual property to branding and finance. Yes, so who applied with their 10-page business plan in March? Well, better than last year. So we had 13 women and 17 men. So that was 30 people in total applied, and that represented 23 different businesses. So these businesses were then shortlisted to a final 10 who were asked to come and pitch. And that was done by our really, really supportive judges, who are obviously quite scary to the applicants, hence the diagram. But, we really put an emphasis with the judges. We've got good relationships with them to provide as much feedback as they possibly could this year. We always try and collate feedback, but it's been a bit patchy in previous years. So yeah, they did the shortlisting and they got it down to the 10, and then they watched their pitches and decided on who should win some prizes. So what were the big results then? So we're really pleased to say that this year, 7 of the 10 final businesses had women founders or co-founders, which, I'm no mathematician, but looks like a fairly big increase from last year when there were none. But kind of more importantly, in some ways, how did this help them and how did this support all the people who are taking part? This is a rather long quote and I'll pick a couple of bits out of it, but this is from somebody who wasn't an overall winner, but won some support through the competition for her business. She said, the most valuable part of the new enterprise competition was being matched with the most incredible mentor. Her knowledge, expertise, guidance and support has blown me away. I've learned a phenomenal amount from this inspirational woman in such a short period of time, and she's opened doors which help my business to grow and develop further. I cannot thank her enough. No pressure if you're looking for mentors, but you need people as good as that. Also, the caliber overall of all the applications was really high. I wouldn't want to be a judge. So in fact, one of the judges said it was the highest caliber of applications he'd ever seen in his 10 years of judging. Well, that's pretty good. But also, some of those people who didn't, get the big pot of money, what do they think? Well, this is from one of the applicants who was a finalist, so was in one of those final 10 businesses, but didn't actually receive any winnings. But she said, I really appreciate what the judges taking the time to write this feedback down, and it's been great in refining my plan and making my case stronger for other opportunities. And I'm really pleased to say that literally last month, she won a very, very high level competition externally in her sector. So you know, it's really put her in good stead. Very, very quickly, if anyone's interested, we had a People's Choice Award online, and that worked really well. It had 2,400 votes, and we also helped us to recruit some more mentors. If you want to hear more about it, contact us, and I'm more than happy to talk forever on that one. Please check them out, our fantastic finalist businesses on this webpage at the end. Thank you very much.